What's up, everybody? Metal Dave here, along with my co-host Jason McMaster, bringing you another episode of the Talk Louder podcast. Today, we are joined by Kenny Hickey, best known as the guitarist for Type O Negative. He's got a new project called Sun Don't Shine. The lineup of that band includes Kirk Windstein from Crowbar and Down, Todd Strange on bass, who was the original bass player in Down, and Johnny Kelly on drums, who, of course, was Kenny's bandmate in Type O Negative and multiple other projects. There is a lot of star power in this band, especially if you're into the dark, heavy, sludgy stuff. And that's what Sun Don't Shine sounds like. But it's really cool stuff. You made a point during the conversation, Jason, where as heavy as it is, there's kind of there's ebb and flow, and there's moments where there's some light coming through all of that, and it's almost got some Beatles-esque moments in the melodies, and of course the underlying sludgy.
It's great songwriting, because once again, when you think about what Type O Negative did, and we talk about this in this episode with Kenny about how they were kind of a crossover band.
Yeah.
With Peter Steele's influences, with his thrash metal roots and the hardcore roots and things like that. And Kenny comes from that as well. Bands like Carnivore, where they were both right there, right? And then it turns into Type O, and Type O grows into this doom, almost like chamber music with the keys and the dark lyrics and the dark, Peter's dark voice, but lots of melody and just a lot of minor chords. It's very sort of sludgy and doomy and spooky shit, right?
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Crowbar. Well, you could use some of the same words to describe what Crowbar is doing. The shit is scary, and it's sludgy, heavy, murky.
Yeah.
Really murky, right?
Yeah.
And so when you put all this together, I will say that Kenny's singing voice on the tunes that I've heard, and I've only heard a couple of songs, it's very strong. His pipes are so strong, but he's singing fairly clean and fairly melodic, and there's harmonies. And then you can hear when, like, the Kirk Windstein riff master comes in, and that, the breakdown comes, and oh shit, who the fuck that is playing that.
Guess who's knocking at the door.
Right. So it's this beautiful thing that's happening in these songs, because there's a little bit of everything, and I'm not going to call it crossover, but it is. But when I say crossover and you're talking about metal or hard rock, it's usually a marriage between metal and punk or hardcore or something like that. This is just great songwriting that has elements of melodic rock, but it has all that sludge.
Yeah. I heard an obvious nod to Black Sabbath, and you're talking about Kenny's voice. I hear a little bit of Ozzy character in his vocal, and the whole world knows Ozzy is a huge Beatles fan, so that crept into Black Sabbath to a degree. It crept into Type O Negative big time. They just made it spooky. I mean, there's a reason they called him the Drab Four,
Yeah.
And so that influence still exists and is very prominent in the Sun Don't Shine thing. I think what I like about it is it's got all the sludge you would expect from the players involved, but there are silver linings around it and moments of brightness, and I think that's most evident in the vocals, because Kenny's voice, as you said, he's clean, he sings clean, and it's very melodious. He really sounds great.
Well, and when you think about Peter in Carnivore, and then you think about Peter in Type O Negative, he's also multifaceted. He's doing this hardcore vocalizing, and then he's singing these melodies over all these beautiful chords in Type O Negative. So I feel that's obviously happening with Kenny and his writing as well. Like he's coming from the sludge and the punk vibe as well, whether it be prior typo, because, and we talk about who's who and what's what and who's writing in typo. And it was Peter's thing, Peter was a main songwriter. But now that Kenny has sort of bust out, I mean, apparently Kenny has a solo record or a couple of solo records that I'm brand new to it. And I look forward to discovering those as well, especially if it's anything like Sun Don't Shine.
Yeah. He's got quite the resume. Seventh Void, Silvertomb, Typo Negative, of course. Now he's doing Sun Don't Shine. He's a live guitarist from Danzig once in a while. He was a live guitarist for Kingdom of Sorrow for a tour or a stretch of dates or something like that. So, a very well-rounded musician, songwriter, cool guy to talk to today.
Yeah, he was fun.
A lot of fun. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And Sun Don't Shine is going to appeal to anyone that is a fan of Typo Negative, Black Sabbath, anything that you may know Kenny from in the past. It's an extension of all that, and it sounds really good. 3 songs are out right now. They have a YouTube channel. Go look up Sun Don't Shine. You can sample those 3 singles right now. And another one, actually 2 are completed. By the time you watch this episode, the 3rd will probably be done. It's called The Promise Song. And 7 songs in the can. They're going to add a couple more, release a full-length album at some point later on this year maybe. But the goal is to compile it all and put out an album. So
look for the singles, though. You can watch a couple of videos, all as well, not just YouTube, but right on their website. And it's probably, sundon'tshineband.com or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's where
and don't.
Yeah, that's where I sort of read some press and read some verbiage about the band, and had quite a few aha moments that got me excited to talk to Kenny today. So yeah, that's all. That's going to be a good plethora of information. Just going to the Sun Don't Shine website. Yeah. Remember those websites?
Yeah, exactly. Right. You should know more than ever now, because that's where a lot of bands are releasing stuff. So
yeah.
And they also have a Facebook page. I did some exploring and found that as well. So look up Sun Don't Shine. There's no apostrophe in don't. It's just DONT, Sun Don't Shine. And
thank you to Corpse Paint PR.
Yes.
Appreciate
Andrew
that.
Spalding. Yes. Yeah. Andrew, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And we're looking forward to the full-length record. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the Talk Louder podcast, Kenny Hickey from Sun Don't Shine. How are things in your neck of the woods? Where are you? New York?
I'm in New York, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's right here. It's a little cold, but everything's cool. No massive fires, any ice storms, none of that shit going on.
Well, that's good, because it's hell on earth in other places, isn't it?
I know, man. It's crazy.
We're in Texas, and we have seen you in Texas before. Of course, we're here to talk about the new project, Sun Don't Shine, but at the same time, we can't help bring up other stuff that you've done.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what history is. A lot of history, right?
I'll jump in, and Dave, please interrupt, even though people don't like that. Please interrupt me. Dude, your voice, I didn't know what to expect. You are singing your ass off. You have a beautiful voice. That shit is incredible, man. I've only heard, I just went to the site and watched a couple videos, and I know you have something new dropping. And I texted Kirk Windstein. I texted Kirk just a little while ago to just tell him that I was excited to talk to you today. And I was just like, we started both going off on you. And I was like, all right, settle down.
I love that guy, man. He's the sweetest guy on earth, man.
Yeah, he is. And anyway, that's a whole other bag of worms. Yeah.
That's a good topic because I have it on my list of questions. I'm listening to your vocals, and I hear a bit of an Ozzy quality in there. And I was curious to know, when do you think you found your singing voice, and how long did it take you to develop it to a point that you were confident with it?
That took years. It started as me sort of taking over the higher range parts in typo because Peter was just out of his range.
Yeah.
Like with Black Number One, with "You Want to Go Out But It's Raining and Blowing," that whole part. So I took over, and that's how it just started from there. And then it ended up, my tenor range really blended well with his. So, and then he just started giving me, out of probably pure laziness, more and more singing duties in typo. So like if he had a part that he felt like he didn't want to deal with, he'd give it to me. So that's where it started, And then I started a solo project called Seventh Void in about 2009, where I just took over the singing duties totally. So that's when I really started experimenting with it,
Is it safe to say you were a guitar player first and then you developed your...
Oh, absolutely. I'm a guitar player, at heart.
So who were some of your...
Essentially what I am.
Who are your vocal heroes? Obviously, I hear a little bit of Ozzy, but I'm sure.
Absolutely, Ronnie James Dio, Ozzy, Robert Plant, Chris Cornell, all the high end, all the greats.
Cornell never gets mentioned in the same breath as
Oh, he should be.
I know.
It was a whole time. So
for sure.
I'm not saying that I am even up here with those guys, but that's what that's what my influences are. That's what drives.
Sure, of course.
How much of this is sort of, it's still going to be all over the place, and I apologize, or I don't apologize. In the writing with typo, do you feel like the writing you were doing early on with Peter is... When did you start writing songs for yourself, I guess is the question.
Well, I wrote songs for myself before typo, and then, joined typo. Peter's the main songwriter. So
right.
We had to add our 2 cents and whatnot into it. But I wrote songs. I think, typo took over my life for a good 8-9 years. I only started my solo project, started writing songs again, 10 years, probably like 4 albums into typo. I went back to songwriting. So I felt I had the time and I had the desire to write again and do my own thing.
Yeah, when typo hit, it hit. You were all of a sudden.
It didn't. That wasn't a sudden thing. We worked our asses off. It was good 5 years.
Yeah.
We did our first punk rock tour in '91, and then
I saw that tour. It was Biohazard, The Exploited, and Typo Negative.
What a marvelous disaster that was, man! It was so great.
So I saw that show in San Antonio at the Cameo Theater in San Antonio, Texas, and at that time, typo was pretty unknown, and
totally unknown.
Even Biohazard was a little unknown. Me and my buddy went because we were Exploited fans, and I thought about it, and about a year later, that whole bill would have been flipped. You know what I mean?
Well, it would have been more than a year later because then we went to Europe after that, which was not really, that didn't work out for us too good, but the band really, and then we did that Not So Live album, right? We did Origin and Feces, and then Bloody Kisses was when it finally started breaking, but that was only the end of '94 into '95, so it was some years after.
So you called the tour a fabulous disaster or something like that. Why? Why so?
It was a real punk rock tour, and I had Josh, Peter, and Sal, and they were very sort of straight-laced rockers almost, you know what I mean? They were the kind of guys that wanted their hotel room at 9 o'clock and all of a sudden this was just chaos. Waddy made it chaos. There was getting kicked out of hotels every night, having water fights and showing up late to gigs and not showing up to gigs, the van crashing. They actually stun-gunned their driver at one point while he was driving.
The
explosion? In the van, No, it was a disaster. Wow. And then I think it hit Kansas and Peter couldn't take it anymore. He's like, "I'm leaving. Fuck all of you." And he left.
Wow. Yeah, I do remember that tour. Cameo Theater, San Antonio, Texas. It was a trip, man.
I saw you guys later with Pantera in San Antonio.
Oh, yeah. That was that an Ozfest thing?
It was at Sunken Gardens.
With Pantera, no. Pantera was big for Sunken Gardens.
Pretty sure it was.
No. We played Sunken Gardens, but no, definitely Pantera.
Okay, here you go. Do you know, because it was my birthday, do you know
we
where
didn't play
you
with
were?
Pantera until the arenas.
Do you remember mid-March of 95?
I don't remember.
I shouldn't remember it. The only reason.
What's Sunken Gardens again? Is that an arena?
It's an outdoor. No, it
would have been.
It's a larger sort of outdoor. Holds about 3,000 or 4,000, maybe.
That sounds like and that was 95.
94. Yeah. No, 95. 95. You're right. 95.
That's the Pantera. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, that's March 18th of 1995. I had turned 30 years old. That was 30 fucking years ago.
Yeah, I was about 27, 28, something like that.
And and I was doing Black Tooth standing while you were on stage, standing behind your stacks with Dime and a bunch of other knuckleheads.
There was no knuckleheads all over that tour. That was the height of the insanity. That was so much fun, man.
That was a great fucking show.
It was really
both bands just killing it.
We clicked together.
Yeah, it worked well.
Was there any and I want to get back, of course, to Sun Don't Shine, but we went down a rabbit hole here. But
sorry,
was there any truth to the notion that Type O was going to tour with the Ramones and Motley Crue? Was that ever a thing?
But back then, we were toured with Motley Crue.
Oh, you did? Okay, because
Motley Crue is actually they were the springboard of Type O's career.
Because I remember Sunken Gardens, that was supposed to be a thing, and then I don't think it happened. Maybe they moved it to a different venue or something.
Yeah, they did. They moved it. They couldn't fill it. But what you were talking about earlier, the Nebraska show, that was pre-Motley Crue. That would have been the beginning of '94.
Yeah,
and then at some point,
that was when Dave was off camera. We hadn't started recording yet. Dave, the Toys played a gig with Type O in Nebraska in '94. Wow.
Like a strip bar.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it was one of those.
We were nobody, and we were just coming up.
Yeah.
We weren't coming up anything. We'd playing to 50 people a night. But
yeah.
Right preceding that.
We were on our way down and you guys were on your way up.
There's always a direction, right?
It's the truth.
Just confused anyhow half the time. So probably around that time, the Motley Crue guys were making their record. I forget the name of it. It was the one with Karabi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they were listening to Bloody Kisses, and they asked us to come out with them. So they asked us to do Shed Tour and support them that summer.
So that was a good tour for you because of
we were like, we're going to fit with Motley Crue. You're crazy. And my manager, Ken Creedy, was like, you're crazy. You're going to be playing to thousands of people a night that wouldn't think about buying your album. You're going to do it.
Right.
So and that's what started the record selling. It started selling 2,000 albums a week was selling, and it went up and up, and that's what started the whole thing. And then, Danzig asked us to come out, and then after Danzig asked us Queensryche, and then Pantera, and that's how the ball started rolling. It all started with Motley Crue.
It's cool. You guys were a crossover, man. You guys had all this cool
with
shit.
With any band, really. Like, we'd even play with a hardcore band.
God, it's kind of a magical mishap, how you guys...
I think, the music was drawn for so many elements. I mean, the first album is, it's hardcore industrial punk, and then, Bloody Kisses is goth industrial punk, rock, metal. So we could pull a song out for any tour we were doing with any band we were playing with that would sort of fit in,
Did you guys play on that Motley tour? Did you guys play in this outdoor festival in Killeen, Texas?
Probably.
Pariah. I mean, it was like 8 bands on the bill, and it was this big outdoor stage. Anyway, it was like in June or July, midsummer hot.
It was like rock and roll summer camp for us.
Yeah.
I never played this shit. I never played in an arena, and boom, suddenly.
Wow, this is great. This is great stuff, man.
A footnote in Type O's history, of course, you were just talking about the crossover appeal and your ability to pull different audiences and tour with different types of bands. A footnote in all of this is Peter Steele's appearance in Playgirl. And I was wondering, like, if the rest of the guys in the band were in the back corner shaking your head going, what are you doing, dude?
I was like, you're crazy. You shouldn't do this. And like Ken, my manager, and Josh was like, oh, it's just more exposure. Every exposure you can get is great, you know? And I didn't think so. You know, I thought it was kind of embarrassing, but you know, he wanted to do it. So
yeah,
it became, you know, a historical thing.
Yeah, I did. Exactly. I was just thinking to myself, if I was in a band with, you know, 4 or 5 other guys and this offer was in front of one of the dudes in the band, I'd be like, dude, you can't do that, man. But he did it. Yeah. And you could argue that it did expand your audience, I guess.
I don't know if it expanded it, but it definitely, you know, let's just some more shit to talk about.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Let's talk about Sun Don't Shine.
Totally loving it, man.
Yeah. First of all, why the name change? You were formerly known as I Am.
Well, there is a band I Am. There's a band from Texas. We found out after I Am with the, you know, the I.
Okay.
Not EYE, just an I Am. And they were like a metal band.
Okay.
And then there's a rap band. We also discovered another I Am, spelled the way we spell it. I mean, they're not active, but so it's like, you know, there's I Ams all over the place. So we had to change. We had no choice.
Right. And as far as I know, you've got 3 singles out so far.
2 singles out, third one coming out the end of the month.
The third one would be the Promise song. Is that right? Yeah. So talk a little bit about those 3 songs, because one of them you recorded under the name I Am, and obviously it's the same band. Oh, both of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't even pronounce it. Cryptonesia, yes. And the other one, Dreams Always Die with the Sun, which sounds like a perfect title for you. But tell me a little bit about the writing process of those songs. Who brought what to the table? How did they come together?
Dreams Always Die was the first thing we met for. And we did it in the studio in Florida. And I just had a couple of ideas on my phone. I pulled them out and sent them over to Kirk. And then he came up with a complimentary idea. So I wrote like the first verse, chorus, and then he wrote the outro to the song. You know, and we got together in the rehearsal. So I swear to God, this song was done in 3 days.
Wow.
We met, we rehearsed it one night, we put the parts together, and then I think in the van on the way to the studio I was writing lyrics.
Wow.
The melody, the vocal melody of there, sorry to interrupt you, man. The vocal melody in that song is unbelievable.
Thank you.
It's
right off the cuff. It just came out in the booth, in the studio. You know, I had an idea of it and the syllables and what to use and stuff. I wrote some lyrics to it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about, you know, missing friends that are dead. That's what it's about. And it just came together. It's one of those things that just happen, you know. So sometimes you can work for a song for months and not get it, and then sometimes it'll happen in a couple of days. You know.
You said something in a video clip on your YouTube channel, the Sun Don't Shine YouTube channel, where I think it was that song where you said, there's nothing more magical than the spontaneity of just kind of banging out a song versus rehearsing it to death. And I think that's what you were saying you captured with this particular tune.
Yeah, you capture that new energy that you put into a song. When you never catch that new energy again when you first lay down a part in a song, and you get a keep playing. Sometimes if you don't get it right the first time or the second time, I think it gets more and more stale. The more times you try to nail it, you know. So when you really push for the point, there's a live energy in it, you know, that you just can't replace. I think you know, that's definitely that song captured that.
Yeah. I think any musician could agree with that. There's something, and some of them, it's not their preference. They'd rather polish it, but I don't think anyone can argue that energy of something new, it's a real buzz, you know, because it's a new creation for you. Yeah.
And sometimes you can over-polish it. Your stuff is over-polished all over the place these days. You know? Yeah,
for sure.
It takes the character.
Yeah, I agree. Kirk said in our text flurry about an hour ago, he said, we were trying real hard. This is right from him. We were trying real hard to not make it sound like Typo meets Crowbar.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And
do something different.
You've somehow pulled this off, Because I mean, come on, Todd and Kirk. I mean, they they have a thing.
Sludge metal.
Yeah,
I come from sludge metal too, though.
Yeah, and you're right, and you have your thing, but that you've brought to it because that melody and that, and we don't know each other, so I don't really know. I mean, spotted background, I can put something together, but it's not that. When I heard those hooks, I was blown out. I was like, wait a minute, what? And I listened to the song like 3 times in a row you can hear when Kirk comes in and does that.
Oh, yeah.
You can
and
hear
he's doing harmonies too.
Yeah.
We're singing back and forth too on the end.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But you can hear when Kirk's riff comes in. And and you spark there. You're like, oh shit, it's Kirk. Like you don't have to watch the video. You can tell that riff where that's coming from. Yeah, congratulations. I don't know how old those couple songs are, but
I came out like 2 years ago, and the other one
damn.
about 9 months, 10. I don't know how long ago. Sometime in the spring. I forget when it came out. July.
No one's fault that I'm late. No one's fault that I'm late to it. But
well, I mean, it's we haven't really done. We haven't toured. We haven't played any shows. We did some promotion for the singles and just dropped them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's not like everybody's been so busy. Johnny's always busy with his thing, and then and Kirk, he's all over the place. I mean, Down's even coming out with a record now, so it's hard to get the time in, to get in to actually promote it and get out there and do some shows. That's going to be exciting when we finally get to do that.
I see that you're playing Grass Pop, right?
Yes, it's in the works.
Yeah. I saw an ad for it today. That you guys are going to. Where is that? Sweden? No.
That's in Belgium.
Belgium. Okay.
Wow.
And it's a summertime gig, I think, right?
Yes, all the most of the European ones in spring, summer
festivals. Yeah.
Spring, summer, fall. Yeah.
So what is the end game? Are you working up an album slowly but surely, or?
Yes, we got 7 songs. We're going to release an EP, but now we're thinking about just going to full record, getting together again, getting another 4 songs thing, and putting out a whole LP.
Yes,
we have 7 completed songs recorded right now.
A lot of bands these days are going the singles route or the EP route versus a full album, and I understand the arguments for both, opinions or positions or whatever. But so you're in favor of doing an album. What are you an old school guy that's like, you like the entire whole body of work versus?
I do, of course I am. I mean, I come from that era. I grew up listening to music in the 70s.
Sure.
So, but it doesn't have to be constructed like that today. I mean, today with streaming and with, attention spans, it's better to release 1 single every 3 months for like a year or something like that. And really stretch it out and then drop the record. Because otherwise, if you release 3 singles, which is going to be done in like maybe 3 months' time, then drop the record, then it goes away. It's done.
Yeah.
People, they're so flooded with bands and they're so flooded with stuff that they just move on to the next thing. So it's better to space it out and slowly drop singles, I think. I mean, we didn't purposely drop these singles so far apart and stuff. It just ended up that way logistically, but it might be better off in the long run.
Well, you guys, I mean, the players in your band, everybody's in a minimum of 5 other things. So it makes sense that it would take a while for all this to gel. Because you are all very busy in your individual worlds as well. Do you have a working title for the album? Something to look out for? Yes. I don't know if I should drop it on you, though. Okay, maybe.
Yeah, it's too early. All right?
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yes, we have a title, period. I got artwork and everything. I just don't want to drop it yet.
Yeah, okay. Well, cool. So a full-length album on the way, because the 3 songs we've heard so far are, very cool, and we're looking for more of that, and I know people will be interested in that as well. The age-old question, especially in this day and time, what's the possibility of touring, especially with you guys in your schedules?
Well, it's going to have to be windows of times, that are available for everybody. So it's going to be hard to schedule, but we'll get it done.
Yeah.
We're not going to be going out. We're not going to be going out for 6 weeks straight or anything like that. It'll be short stints, like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks or whatever.
The Windows of Time tour.
Yeah.
Jason just made your T-shirt.
Yeah, the Windows of Time tour. Right. So your background with Kirk and Todd, would that go as far back as 94 and the first Down record, or further
Certainly
back than that?
Certainly with Kirk. So like Kirk was a huge Carnivore fan, a Peter fan, Typo fan from the beginning. And
me and my friends love Carnivore, man. We wore that first record out, man.
The first time we ever came to Texas, we played the Basement. Remember that place?
That's in Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that place.
Rita, Dime's girl, Rita showed up, and Kirk and his girlfriend. Those are the first people I met from that camp.
Wow.
We didn't even know Pantera guys or anything. We were playing, just the Basement, and they were fans, and that's how I first met Kirk.
Awesome.
Wow. Yeah. I read a book called, is it World Coming Down? Jeff Wagner's book on.
I don't know. We didn't have anything to do with any of those books. So
yeah, I know you didn't. But one of the things that I guess I didn't realize is the behind the scenes brotherhood that existed between the Pantera camp and the Typo camp. I knew it existed on the surface because you toured together and you guys were kind of happening at the same time. But there seemed like there was a lot of
We had a relationship together, and and Vinny even put out my first solo record, the Seventh Void record, Heaven Is Gone.
Right.
So that was right after Dimes passed away. In fact, we were hanging out with them the night before that, when they were played in New York, I think, the night before. All that happened, Irving Plaza, and we hung out with them, drank and screamed and sang in the front lounge of the bus all night. Right before that happened, I couldn't believe when that shit happened.
Wow.
Man. God.
Yeah, so anytime they came around, we were always hanging out. Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the status?
A lot of time in Vinny's house, partying at the house in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I ran into Johnny at Vinny's club when Dime and Vinny had an album release party for the album that they did with David Allan Coe.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, were you there that night?
They loved that record. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
We were excited about that record.
Yeah, it was a great record, and then that party was wild, man. There was like a Kiss tribute band, and it's a strip joint, and just bring your own beer, and I'm sitting next to David Allan Coe, like kind of half scared, half like thinking this is cool,
The funny about those guys, man, they lived the life, and it was always like that. It was like that every fucking night, man.
Yeah, we've heard that from so many people, but you would know better than most. What's the status on Silvertomb?
Working on the mixes right now. We'll be dropping out this year too.
Oh, wow.
It's great too. It's really lengthy, doomy, dark, darker than the Sun Don't Shine stuff. Really cool stuff.
Awesome.
Wow.
Very excited about it. We have Dwayne from OCD Sound mixing it for me too. Same guy who did the mixes for Sun Don't Shine.
Right. Take us all the way back to your childhood. You talked a little bit about some of your vocal inspirations, but what moment made you decide that you wanted to play rock and roll for a living? Was there a concert or an album or a band on television that made you go, that's what I want to do?
It was Ace Frehley and his smoking Les Paul.
Ace
Frehley on the marquee, with his smoking Les Paul. Ace Frehley I know he influenced a lot of guys in this direction.
Sure.
And he always says, I figured that was going to happen. I would practice more when I was a teenager.
Yeah, right.
So
that's what he said.
Yeah.
So funny.
Was it Kiss Alive that kind of drew you to it?
That was the album, yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss Alive, the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
You and Ace are from the same neighborhood, aren't you?
No, he's Bronx. I'm Brooklyn.
Oh, that's right. He's Bronx.
But he's got a little bit of a different accent. I got more like an Andrew Dice Clay accent.
Yeah. Is it Peter Criss that's Brooklyn?
Peter Criss, I think he's from Queens, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, wait. Gene Simmons from Queens. He's from Queens.
Okay. Well,
I don't know where Peter's from, but I'm a Brooklyn guy. We're Brooklyn guys.
yeah, you're right about Ace though. Massive influence. I think there was something said one time that he single-handedly caused more people to pick up a guitar than any other, especially from our generation at least.
From our generation, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
He was having all the
I was
fun.
right at the right age, right? I was within 14 years old or something like that, or 9, something like that.
Do you remember the first time you saw
8 or 9?
Do you remember the first time you saw Kiss in concert?
Yeah, the first time I saw Kiss in concert, believe it or not, is when we played with them on their reunion tour in Europe.
Whoa.
And I came out backstage, and there was Ace in full makeup doing an interview, leaning on the fence. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude.
And they showed up with like helicopters and stuff to the shit. I made this whole big, rigmarole. It was their first reunion when they came back in, I think it was in the 2000s, the early 2000s, or maybe, something like that. I forget the date.
I think the first reunion tour started in 96.
Yeah, 96.
But then it kept going,
Yeah.
Right. It kept going, and we did some series of shows in Europe in festivals, and they were headlining one of the festivals.
Amazing.
That's the first time I saw them ever live. And then I saw them when they played, thank God, the whole original lineup on that reunion in the Garden, and they were great then.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
They're one of those bands, just like I would say Type O is, like sometimes they're just amazing and they're on, and sometimes they're like a freight train with square wheels,
Yeah.
Wow.
They were fucking amazing. They were amazing at the Garden. Amazing.
Did you get to spend any time with Ace when you did those dates with him?
I didn't. I had some words here and there with Gene, but not Ace.
Yeah.
I met Gene years before that at the Palladium in LA with Peter.
Wow.
He actually came up to Peter in the lobby of the Palladium. We were playing there. We were playing with Nine Inch Nails.
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped Peter and he goes, "You are a star. Can I have my picture taken with you?"
Nice.
Wow. That doesn't
He said that to Peter. Well, when you
Yeah.
think about it, he was trying to be Peter, right? He had the 9-inch fucking heels and stuff, and he's trying to look like a demon. Peter naturally looked like that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's true. Peter's tall and had the thing naturally already. Yeah, that's right.
That's really
God
cool.
of thunder.
That's really cool that you grew up idolizing Ace, and then you
Well,
actually,
that was our age. I was 9 years old. Johnny too, same age group. Josh too.
Speaking of Johnny, so you and Johnny have been in multiple projects over your lifetime, but you guys always seem to come as a package deal. So what is it about the two of you that keeps you together?
I don't know. It's just, it's like a dysfunctional relationship that still works. I mean, I send him stuff. He knows what I think or what I want. He comes from the same roots, so he's not going to do anything that pisses me off or fucking really aggravates me.
Yeah.
Like overplay or fucking not play for the song or any bullshit. You know what I mean? I know he's going to lay down something Bonham-esque, John Bonham, hard rock,
Yeah.
So, and we can communicate. Sometimes dysfunctionally, but we know how to get there. So
I just thought it was really interesting because they
it's hard to find a great drummer, man.
Exactly.
That fucking do something right for the song and fucking play in time. You think it would be not that hard. It's fucking hard.
Yeah. I think a lot of people outside of music don't really understand the value. Jason says it on this show a million times. You're only as good as your drummer, and that's
everybody out front can be kind of half-ass. If your drummer if your drummer is the shit, people notice. You get hired again. You write songs easier. They already know what to play. If your drummer already knows how to fucking act, your band is probably pretty fucking good.
Solid, yeah. And then it's also the whole thing where there's a lot of drummers and a lot of guitar players, but not a lot of good ones.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Back to Type O for a minute. This may sound like a crazy question, but crazy things have happened. Crazier things have happened. Did the three of you guys ever consider reuniting with a different singer, bass player, someone to step in for Peter? I know it sounds like, impossible, but we've seen it done with...
No, it's not impossible. I mean, if you can replace Jim Morrison, you can replace Peter Steele. It's not impossible. It's just kind of like, I don't know, really, the money would have to be really big, which I'm sure sooner or later is going to be,
Yeah.
Just to it. And we wouldn't do it as sort of like a replacement. We'd probably do it as like a tribute.
Of course.
Sure.
Like maybe have a couple of singers or have a singer and just tribute to them and have a whole, collage of videos behind us or something like that.
Yeah.
We could do something more tasteful like that,
Yeah.
to sort of tribute the entire history catalog of the band,
Yeah.
And then, I guess, people come down and see the band, that have never seen it live, which is a lot of people.
Well, it would be celebration.
Yeah.
right? Celebratory, and who knows how long it could go. You know, the Pantera tribute that is happening is, you know,
There you go. Yeah.
I'm not asking anyone for their opinion in this room at this moment, but I'm saying, you know, it's put on like a tribute to the brothers. And
Dude, they played the Garden. They couldn't touch the Garden when they were together.
yeah,
I went to see him. I hung out with Philip.
but
He's blown away. He's like, playing the Garden. I know,
Yeah.
man.
but the smiles and the happiness that it's bringing, you know, the people that struggle with the idea, who were close with the brothers and you know, politics and feelings, it's like, man, if you were too close to it, you don't really see the joy that it's bringing. And you know,
Well, people got a lot of negative shit to say, and then they play, and everybody shows up, and it sells out. They all
That's
have
right.
a great time to buy shirts.
That's right.
So what the fuck, man? You're not
Right.
hurting anybody.
right.
Yeah, that's a good example too, because I think one of the reasons the Pantera thing is working, and this is kind of why I ask about Type O. Not that I'm advocating for anything necessarily, but the situation is similar in the sense that there's a whole new generation of kids
Yes.
out there that never got to see Type O.
Same with Pantera. Missed
Exactly,
it. They just
yeah.
missed it.
It would be big. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's bigger now than we were. I know we're bigger now than when we were in 2009 when Peter passed. That's for sure. It's just gone up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
In
Isn't that
popularity.
crazy?
It's crazy, man. I meet kids like I was at the supermarket with my wife last Sunday, and this girl comes up to me. She had to be 17. Are you Kenny Hickey? Yeah. What's up? Yo, I got a couple of friends and me. We're really big fans. Can you come take pictures with us behind the deli counter? And she must have been 17, and the other kid
Wow.
was maybe 20, and the other one was about 8. They were all younger than my kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
They weren't alive when I put out my first record. I mean, that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've got a 16-year-old son who has your records, and it's got me sort of. I revisit those songs through my 16-year-old son, who's into it, you know, and obviously was not around when you guys were around and touring and things like that. I was there, but then time got in the way and life got in the way, and I kind of forgot or haven't touched it in a while. And then my 16-year-old
Like all
son brings it back. That's crazy. But that's also a testament to great music, I think, you know, that if it didn't hold up, nobody would still be listening to it.
That's right. That's right. And music also has this visceral thing where, you know, it's like smell. It takes you right back to a time when you hear it. That's where you get really emotionally attached to it. You know what I mean? That's the power of music.
What music does that for you?
Oh, the old Zeppelin stuff, AC/DC, you know, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Cars.
The
Cars' first record.
I love the Cars, dude.
Blondie's first couple of records. You know, stuff like when I was 16, 17 was coming up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know exactly.
First two Pipe Benatar albums. I think of me and my first girlfriend, you know?
Yeah.
Screwing, cutting out from school and screwing in the back bedroom.
Yeah. That's great how music does
Unreal.
that, man. It transports you.
Yeah.
Right, doesn't cheap trick transfer you back to like your first making out with a girl? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I every time I hear the first Van Halen and the first Boston record,
the first Boston record.
they go together for me because I know exactly where I was. I know what time of day it was. I know what year it was. And we listened to those records on vinyl back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right when those came out.
That takes me back to like hearing the first Van Halen album. That was me smoking pot in my bedroom, and I had a PVT 60 guitar as my first guitar, and a PV backstage amp because it was cheap. And I had this saturation knob that you could put it up. It was really distorted, man. I was trying to figure out eruption on it.
Nice.
Turn the lights down low in your room and smoking pot.
Those
man.
those
Magic.
T60s were heavy.
I didn't, that was my first guitar. I just,
Wow.
I thought it was amazing. You know, I should have held on to it, but.
Yeah, I actually like those basses and guitars, those of that era. Did you have it? Wasn't it like a wood grain? Wasn't it like a light, like a blonde? You got a black one.
I got a black one with a blonde neck.
Right.
And then I also had the first issue Tube Screamer. That was the box I chose because that's the one I liked the best.
Right.
I didn't hold on to that either.
Damn,
Right?
that thing would be worth like $700 now, man.
Yeah,
That thing
I
would
got
be.
the reissues and stuff now, but
sure.
I mean, it probably sounds the same, but whatever. People, they get all geeked out on it. Oh, it doesn't have the right transistor.
Yeah, you're right. That's a whole other rabbit hole there about gear nerds.
I'm a rabbit hole guy too, so
yeah. No,
So
all good.
You said what status are the songs that you're working on? Are you almost close to having a full record, or are you sort
we
of
have 7 songs, including the 2 you heard. Is 7 total.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Another 3 or 4 songs. We have record.
Sure.
It's we have like 30 minutes almost. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
You're close. You're so close.
Yeah. So we should be able to get together come whatever, June or whenever he's got a space, and just, I'm writing now. I'm going to write from now up until then and just have a whole bunch of shit. I mean, I'm always putting ideas down on my phone anytime they come to my head.
Was Todd Strange just kind of a package deal, or did you see?
Yeah, he came with Kirk. Kirk was like, Todd in,
come on, Todd, let's go. Yeah. Well, I think that's
now
great.
we're close to hell. I've hung out with Todd and his wonderful wife Tess. And they have this great ranch in Texas that we hung out in. Me and my wife, they're awesome people. Everyone's great.
Yeah,
all the wives are great, and everybody gets along. It's really cool. It's a fun time.
Where did the name Sun Don't Shine come from?
We had to come up with. Kirk was like, we got to change the name. All right, so we started, throwing around names, of course, in text and stuff. So it was like it was one of the group of like a battery of names that I was coming up with. Like I'll pull like lines out of Black Sabbath lines, and I think that came from. I forget what song it came from. It came from one of the Black Sabbath songs.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm living easy where the sun doesn't shine. Down. So that I just wrote, sun don't shine. And I wrote down all these phrases and stuff. And that's the one Kirk attached to, because to him, it reminds me of the first line of Bridge of Sighs from Robin Trout.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like really excited. There was a couple of other names that were really cool too, but he really liked that one. So, so let's go with that one. And that's how it happened.
That works.
It does work. And like I said at the start of this conversation, it suits you to a T. Sun Don't Shine.
I think it does. Yeah.
Keeps the dark theme going,
Makes me feel really cold. Which I like.
Yeah. Well, Jason, you got anything else for Kenny?
I'm just, I could hang out with Kenny all day. There's just all kinds of cool shit. I think that the idea that you've got, basically you have a rhythm section from down. You have a songwriting duo rhythm section that's like, 2/5 of the original Down band. Mm-hmm. On top of that, Kirk is he's
multifaceted. He's a wonderfully talented guy.
Rainbow of darkness, right?
Yeah. And he's also he can sing. He's got a great ear. He's a great guitar player. He's very, very, very fine artist.
He's in love with rock and roll.
Oh yeah.
He's in love with rock and roll. You can tell by all of his tattoos. He's got tattoos. He's got a Twisted Sister
tattoo on your head. You're in love with rock and roll.
He's got a rose tattoo. He's got all the good shit tattooed on him.
He's got a typo negative tattoo.
He does. He's got a
Zakk
Wylde tattoo. He's got it all, man. So
UFO. Yeah. He's a
you kind of won the lottery, I think, with you in befriending those guys, those folks, right, early on, and there's some kind of like, connection.
History.
Yeah.
Connection.
And the fact that you can just like make a phone call and go, hey, I've got these song ideas. Let's make this happen. Let's form something. When did I Am start? What year was that? Is that real recent, or it's just a couple of years ago?
A couple of years ago.
Okay, that's fairly recent. Yeah, that's fairly
a couple of years ago, and it was actually our mutual friend Andrew Spaulding. Now Andrew was merchandise guy for Danzig. That's where I met him when I played the Danzig show tour, and then he did merch for Type O. But he also lived in New Orleans, and he knew Kirk, so he got close to Kirk. So we're all like drinking buddies, heavy drinking buddies. I don't drink anymore. Neither does he, but. So it was Andrew's brainstorm. He was like, what if I took Kirk and you and put you all in a room? And so he financed it. He was living in Florida at the time. He said, I pay for the flights. Everybody come down. Johnny come down. I rented a rehearsal studio. And then, I got this recording studio we're going to go to. So it was all just his brainstorm.
Wow.
So, and Kirk was like, well, I'm not doing nothing at this time. I said, I'm not doing nothing. And we just exchanged ideas. And that's how it happened, really.
Is that in your press release?
It is somewhere.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Maybe
That
not the
sounds
recent one,
fine.
but it was talked about.
That's important.
Yeah, that is. You mentioned Danzig. Obviously, I'm a Danzig fan. I'm wearing a Danzig T-shirt. When you go out, what's your favorite Danzig album?
I like 1 and 2, both of them.
Yeah,
I like 1 through 4 is great. They're great fucking records.
Yeah.
I agree. 2 is my favorite, but
I love 2.
one is really good too.
I'm a big Misfits fan too, and I like Sam Hickey fan too.
Yeah,
So to get that played at those songs with him was amazing. You know, I did 2.5 weeks with him.
Yeah,
and I was recording songs, and he, as long as I knew the song, he'd play it. You know,
wasn't that with Johnny on drums?
yes.
Yes, that's what I
Steve
thought.
said.
See, they're a package deal. They go everywhere together.
So Johnny got me in. He was like,
they're each other's
needed a
shadow.
guitar player. Yeah.
Yeah,
You got Todd and Kirk, and you got you and Johnny. There's something really cool, some cool synergy going
That's
on.
a good tag team going.
Lucky motherfucker, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to stick to your age group too. You know,
Yeah,
Sure,
of course.
Yeah.
you can't stick me on stage with a 25-year-old guy. You know.
No, I can see you guys as like fly on the wall, whatever, or fuck, getting into the convo about, just even you and Kirk, not to mention all 4 of you fuckers, just talking about rock and roll and just talking about
Laughing.
Talking about Kiss for an hour, talking about Twisted Sister for an hour, talking, because
Thin Lizzy.
the stories that you've probably got from just living out there, and
Yes.
Talking to Frank Bello and how he used to like go down to Electric Ladyland and like wait for Gene to walk out, and they just like I was just like, wait, what? Can you tell me that story again? These little kids just following those guys around the streets of New York, trying to, in and out of the studio. I think that they even got to sit in like the lobby and hang out with them for a minute.
I think that's in Bello's book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It kind of freaks me out, but I could only imagine. I really hope good things for the Sun Don't Shine project. I really
So do I. Thank you.
strong about it. And again, dude, your singing voice is fucking believable.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, everything you're teasing to us sounds great. You've got a hell of a band, that goes without saying. So keep those songs coming, and we'll look for the full album and hopefully some tour dates later on down the line. That would be awesome. You got a good thing going there.
I have to say that the some of the PR that I read, there was this one thing, and then I promise I don't have any more silly questions after this, but there was just one thing I want to bring up. It said from Beatles to Black Sabbath.
Mm.
It said that in some kind
I never said that, but maybe a critic did.
Somebody said that.
There's a bit of all that in there.
Doesn't matter who said that, but when I read that, it was after I had heard, the tunes, and I'm like, wait a minute. Beatles to Black Sabbath sounds like something that someone would have said after they heard at least one of those songs, because of the melody, the song, the power of the songwriting, and how heavy it is, but how melodic it is. And then you look at the names of the players and you're like, oh shit. So I just think that the Beatles to Black Sabbath made a lot of, to me anyway. And I'm just.
It makes sense to me. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's even there's Beatles progressions in Kryptonesia. I mean, it's in there. It's in the structure of the writing, definitely.
Well, there's harmony and there's melody and there's like detuned riffs that shake the fucking ground. So I think that it's covering so many bases. And after talking to you today and just getting a little bit of your background and your influences and you being an Ace Frehley fan, it's like, aha, okay, well, obviously
we can be friends now.
He likes this. He likes all the right shit. So of course, so
I grew up in the greatest era of rock and roll. I mean, come on.
You did.
My first rock star that I worked with was Elton John, because I was about, 5 or 6.
Don't get me started.
Growing up in 73.
I talk about Elton all day. I'm in an Elton tribute band.
I mean, Yellow Brick Road. I mean, how can you beat this record? And it's like, this is the stuff. So I discovered Beatles through him, really.
Yeah, I get it.
And there was Zeppelin and everything else came floating down, you know. So, I mean, it's the greatest ever to grow up in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
We're all about the same age. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. And Jason.
You're lucky to grow up in that decade. We really
absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
Well, the stuff that came out in the 70s, like, was proto this and proto that, the proto metal, proto everything. From Queen, I mean, Queen was detuning.
Hard rock really reached its apex. Its density. Its culmination with Queen. I love Queen. News of the World was the first record I ever bought with my own money.
Yeah, I got that as a gift. Yeah, year it came out. Yeah,
I remember this kid in my school thought they were saying, "We will rob you."
Wow.
That sounds more punk rock.
Go rob me a sandwich. Go rob me a sandwich.
My name is Ghetto Punk Rock.
Wow. Well, enjoyed the conversation today, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for spending time with us. And we do appreciate it. And we look forward to the full-length album from Sun Don't Shine. Apparently there's another Silvertomb on the way, so people can look out for that as well. All the luck in the world with it. You got a dynamite band put together, and the songs that we're hearing sound great. So looking forward to more. On behalf of my co-host Jason McMaster, I'm Metal Dave with our special guest today, Kenny Hickey from Sun Don't Shine on the Talk Louder podcast.